Hello, everybody. This is Darren here with Holistic Health Hacks Podcast, episode number 3. And I'm super stoked today. We got a fantastic show planned for you. We got the healer from the United Kingdom, Duke. What's your last name? No one knows your last name. You're just Duke the healer. What is it?
Duke Sayer, S-A-Y-E-R.
Duke Sayer, Duke the healer. All right, so before we dive in to find out who Duke is, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dr. Ashley Oxner from Health From Within. Is a chiropractic wellness studio here in South Chicagoland. He is my go-to guy. I've invested my time and my money with this guy, and I'm telling you what, he's on the brink of something big. I've been trying to fix my body for a long time, and I'm beat up, man. 51 years old. Ashley Oxner's helped me in the spine area, and he is located in South Chicagoland. Phone number 708-349-0040. I'd love for you to go to his website, www.drashleyspeaks.com. www.drashley.speaks.com. This guy's, he is a rock star, and he's going big. He's training other chiropractors, and he's doing corporate wellness training. His message needs to get out, and I'll tell you what, he's an unbelievable healer. Dr. Ashley Oxner, Dr. O, as he's affectionately called, thank you for sponsoring us for this podcast today. So let's get right into it. Before we talk to Duke and he tells us who he thinks he is and where he's going, I'd like to talk about the podcast Healthy Lifestyle Tip of the Week. So the tip of the week today is slow down. Okay? I'm talking slow down your repetition speed when you're exercising with weights, but I'm also talking about slowing down your life. I just did a post today. It's amazing how this technology, this information, we're going to have the world by the balls, right? We got everything at our fingertips. We're supposed to be better. We're supposed to live longer. But why? In the US of A, for the first time since 1500, when Ponce de Leon put the flag and at St. Augustine, Florida, and started fighting England for the United States, why is our life expectancy as the male getting shorter for the first time? Well, it's because we're going too fast. We got to slow it down. All right, so maybe 5 slow, long, deep breaths before you go to bed, and turn your technology off and turn the lights off, and you just sit there and listen to your breath. Maybe that's a thought. So, Duke, any kick into what I just said there about slowing down?
Yeah, I think in this modern day life, just exactly what you said. Even in the gym, as you know, if someone's getting more conscious, getting more connected with their body and taking their time rather than just bashing it out and rather escaping their body and not being present. And something I always recommend to people, just 3 times a day, 10 conscious breaths, and exactly what you're saying, slowing down, you're not releasing as much cortisol, you're becoming aware, you're becoming present. So yeah, it's one of the most important things, especially in this modern day life, that we can do to really get present and get aware of who we truly are and what it is we're actually doing.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right, so food for fuel, tip of the podcast. All right, so we know if we want to gain muscle, lose fat, get more fit, we got to exercise with weights, do some cardio, do some stretching, but we got to eat. Some people say eating is 80% of the deal. It doesn't matter what percentage you put on it. It's super important, not only to become more fit and leaner and meaner, but to become healthier and to sleep better and live longer and stronger. So what's my food tip of the podcast? I'm going to say keep it simple, man. Don't do anything extreme. This works, that works. Most people have tried everything in their opinion. Well, they tried it half-assed in my opinion. And so they're not trying anything because it's so confusing. Just do a YouTube search and you'll get it's just crazy. Low carbs, high carbs, low fat, high fat. I could go on and on. Vegan, no protein, bodybuilders, mass. It's so freaking confusing. So, you know what? Middle of the road, common sense, not extreme one way or the other. Stay consistent. You got to have a goal. If you don't, people ask me, how do I get my body fat percentage down to 4 or 5% and compete and do photo shoots to display my physique? They say, isn't it hard to eat that way? And I say, you know what? I thought for a second. I said, no, It's very easy because I have a super important goal. You know, I stand on stage in my underwear in front of 1,000 people. You would probably eat better too. So you got to have a goal, long term, 12 weeks away, and you got to have a weekly waistline check in and have someone give you feedback if you're getting closer towards your goal or not, with your weight, but also with your energy and your sleep and your healthy lifestyle. So the takeaway is stay consistent with something that's middle of the road and test it and alter it and change it going forward. Duke, any feedback on that food tip of the podcast?
Not really. Just getting conscious. People need to eat more conscious. And a lot of people I've experienced who've had a lot of weight. As soon as you get, again, what you're saying with the breath, get present. Actually, get present with the food. You'll eat a lot less food. You'll recognize whether you're eating emotionally, whether you're actually hungry, and even just doing that one thing can start to shift the game in your relationship with food.
Cool. So did you like my tips? Did you think they were any good?
Awesome, man. Yeah, they are.
All right. So who really cares what your opinion is? Who's Duke? I mean, should we really care? Who is Duke the Healer? What Duke? Who do you think you are, and what's your? What are they saying about you in the street?
What they're saying on the street? I for a long time I struggled with identity. In honesty, I thought I was one thing, and you know what? When they talk about branding, they say, "What is it people say about you when you're not there?" And my friends, colleagues, people at events, mentees, people in the market industry, they are introducing me to their friends as, "You got to meet Duke. He's this amazing healer." And I'm like, "I'm not a healer. That's not who I am. I've got a marketing company. I do this, I do that." And essentially it's got to the point now I'm like, okay, yeah, I am a healer, but I'm not about healing. I'm about self-awareness. I'm about empowering. So that's why my message is so much around self-awareness, because you can get healed, but if you don't understand where that point of creation has come from, your ego and your soul isn't going to come into alignment. Your subconscious mind and ego aren't going to understand what truly is happening and what's been shown up in life and why. And if that doesn't happen, you could just manifest it over and over after that point.
I got you, Duke. So we don't get too long-winded and sort of confuse the listeners here. So professionally, your big bread and butter is you help people get better physically. Give us like 3 sentences to a third grader. What do you do for people, and who's hiring you?
I help release physical ailments and injuries. I help release major trauma. I help people to forgive and get to that point where they can just feel happy and present and understand why things are showing up in their life. And even business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, they might have something going on with their business, and I can find the interference and release it so their business can fly.
Awesome. So you're helping individuals and you're helping businesses turn into the best version of themselves and get an idea that they can go towards living their best life.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, dude, man, that's exactly what I do, man. So I'm joking around a little bit, but me and Duke sort of got smashed together. He said he saw some of my YouTube videos. How many years ago you think, Duke, you saw my first stuff?
Like 5 years ago or something?
5 years ago. Yeah, I started slapping junk out there about 14 years ago. When was the internet created? I don't know, but I'm 51 years young. But we got smashed together. Nothing's by accident. And we do the same thing, I realized, except with a different vehicle. So, Duke, what's your mission with the healing thing? Because you got a few other businesses too, but with helping people heal physical ailments through realizing they have trauma from their probably in the womb to 12, either normal trauma or bullshit belief stories or BS stories people have in their heads, or even as deep as like trauma, like, you know, they suffered something very tragic, and you use that. And do you sort of do the Tony Robbins thing where you draw the line in the sand and you say, we're going to fix this right here, right now. Let's say no more and go forward?
Not really. It's more of when I sit down with someone and I do a session with someone, I get them to understand. They literally see their timeline and understand every single little manifestation, every little co-creation that's happened in their life that they're seeing as part of their victim story, or part of why they can't forgive, or part of why they can't let go of an injury, or even part of their limiting beliefs, wherever it might be. Understanding why they originally asked for that and what is the benefit and what is the power, and being able to see everything that's currently happening in their life, why it's currently showing up now, and what it is they're supposed to be doing in the future, how it all interrelates. So it's more soul purpose. It's more truly understanding who are you, what is your destiny, and everything that you went through, as horrible as it may feel sometimes. And I've had clients tell me things that, intense stuff. And by the end of the session, the pin drop moment is when they realize that their abuser went through exactly what they went through, or had exactly the same feelings they had, or the perpetrator that did something so terrible to them, they get to understand that actually there was a gift in it, and maybe they're here to help them, whatever it might be, and really getting that understanding. And as soon as that penny drops and people understand, that's when the integration happens. Because you can go and talk about a story, you can go and talk about a problem, but until you understand why, it may not release. Or if it does release, it may just manifest again until you do get it.
Wow. Holy snikes. What? So Duke's from the United Kingdom. He's got that really cool accent. I always was envious of, like, he seems cool over here because his voice sounds different in accent. I wonder if I sound cool over there. Duke, do I sound cool over there or no?
You freaking do, man. You do.
What? Oh, that's awesome, dude. All right. So he says a few words. You said dropped a pension or dropped a penny. What's that mean?
That means that, I'll give you a perfect example. Someone can't, this is a small example. Someone can't forgive their husband who broke up with them after 12 years and run off with another person. And as a result, their kid hasn't got a dad. Simple little example. And they're just feeling in turmoil, and it's been a year and they still can't forgive and they can't move on. And when I show them their timeline, and I'm able to show them that they're here to break the pattern, and their mum went through the same thing, their grandmum went through the same thing, their great-grandmum went through the same thing, and they're here to actually now pass on and be such an amazing mum to their daughter and create a different situation, a different scenario, as well as the lesson. Maybe it's forgiveness, maybe it's acceptance, maybe it's unconditional love, and even being able to show them that their partner is running their own programs which made them act a certain way. And when people can start to look at people and understand they're only showing up because of their own programs, and it's not personal, nothing in this life is personal. And when people can see that, that's when, as Oprah would call it, the aha moment, the light bulb moment, and things can start to dissolve. And then obviously after that, we start doing processes, we release the trauma, release the emotion, and then infuse things with more in terms of where they're going rather than where they were.
I effing love it, Duke. I love it, man. Nothing's personal, man. Everybody's created to be loved and be great. I firmly agree with that. So you said 3 or 4 tools. Once you help them put the finger on the 1 or 2 areas, you have some tools, right? What's 3 or 4 tools? You might have mentioned them, but what's your favorite tools?
My favorite tool is the ability to be able to, we have to understand, and this is why I love your work, and it's very interrelated, and we had a chat before. I used to do, not to the level that you do it, but I used to do body transformations. I used to work with people to get them in shape. And what started happening was I was accessing the body, and then once I'd released the client's rape, or I'd released the client's abandonment or neglect, the weight would just drop off. And what we have to understand is our brain is there to keep us safe, to keep us away from the pain, keep us away from the trauma. But the body doesn't forget. The body holds on to it. The body remembers. And one of the quickest tools, if ever you have any physical ailment, any emotion, even a person in your life that's just pissing you off, ask yourself.
Duke, wait a minute. Duke, I'm going to interrupt you. I think I know what it is.
Go on.
Close your eyes, take a couple slow breaths, and see where you feel it in your body at.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
100%.
Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good. 100%.
Call me Darren the Healer.
So if people can start to understand that if they can reconnect with their body and notice that they're actually noticing what is going on in their body, feel that feeling. Let's just say, for example, you had an ex-girlfriend, an ex-wife, and you feel so much annoyance around her, and you feel where she lives in your body. Then you give that feeling an emotion. Then you give that emotion a color.
Duke, I'm going to interrupt you again. I think that's a poor example, because I don't think anybody has an ex-wife or has a girlfriend that they feel crappy around. I think that's probably, well, it's probably just about frickin' everybody. So it's probably a great example.
So, and then once you get to that point and embrace that feeling and personify it, you could breathe it out and see it as a certain color, see it as some smoke, whatever else. And from that point, we can go through certain processes that really get to the point to understand that relationship, that person, that work colleague. I love the expression, face changes, energy remains. So people go into a job and they're like, oh, my boss is such a whatever. And they move jobs. And then and the first 2 weeks, like a relationship, is honeymoon period. And then next thing you know, their boss starts being a certain way. And what you have to understand is everything that is shown up in our life is either part of who we are, it's something karmic, it's something in our intentions, or our beliefs, or something in our actions. And when you can start to see, as I said, nothing is personal and everything that is going on around us, we're attracting in some shape or form to learn or grow. When you can start looking at the world like that, your life will just start flowing as you just start to see things for what they really are.
Dude, this is so eye-opening, Duke. You said cosmic. You're talking the stars, the earth, rotation, all that stuff is cosmic. And do you believe in horoscopes? Is there some information there that we can gather and use maybe?
There is. But you've got things like human design, you've got astrology, you've got all these different methods out there. But what I would invite people is to get to know themselves, because you could spend a million years trying to know the ins and outs of astrology, and you can go to, and I know some amazing astrologers, and they can give you an amazing reader, but they're not you. And for me, you get to know yourself, and the more you can hone that skill set, that is going to accelerate. Rather than relying on tools, get to know yourself, get to know the voice of your soul, get to know the voice of your feelings. The more you can do that, and like what you're doing, getting people to connect with their body, oh my God, it's so important. The more people can connect with their bodies, the more you're going to notice these things, and you can just do so. The last week, I've released and integrated like 4 or 5 different programs. That would have taken me years going to different workshops. So once you understand these tools and know how to do it, your life can just accelerate.
All right, so I'm going to give the listeners, I don't even have to ask Duke's permission, because I bet you I'm spot right on with this. What's something the crazy Jane and John Doe running around, keeping up with the Joneses mentality can do? Well, here's one. Before you come home from work, sit in your freaking car, turn everything off, and get in tune with your breaths. Do 2 minutes of slow, long breaths, and if a thought comes in your mind, get it out. Listen to your breath. I think in the show notes, I'm going to leave a couple of my breathing techniques down below, and then do the same thing before you go to bed. And then walk into the house or apartment after work, and I bet things happen differently. That's what you can do to start getting in tune with yourself just a little bit. Duke, is that pretty good advice?
Yeah, 100%. I think if anyone's listening and you want to keep yourself accountable, a great little tip: create a little WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, just say to everyone, okay, 3 times a day, 1, 2, or 3, we're just going to post in the WhatsApp group. And before you know it, your mates are posting a 1, and you're like, oh yeah, I haven't done my breaths. All right. And then you post your one. It's just a great little thing. And even you guys who may be listening and thinking, that can't change so much, just try it. Treat it as an experiment just for 1 week. And I promise you will start noticing things in your life. And like Darren said, your life will start reacting with you differently to how it currently is.
I love it. Duke, I've said this for many years now. I'm a very simple guy. I was a truck driver for 17 years full-time before I decided to do something really risky and burn the boats and become a personal trainer, healthy lifestyle coach, nutritionist on the surface, but really a mind coach more deeper. And I'm not very smart. I'm smarter than I act like, because I sort of play that up. I got a 27 on my ACT. What'd you get? No, I'm kidding. But I keep things really simple. Do you think there's some truth to this? If you want to get healthier and increase your odds of slowing down and doing some of the things we're talking about, it's really simple stuff, and just listening to the feedback.
Well, it's like Bruce Lee said when he said, I don't fear the man who's tried 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's tried 1 kick and done it 10,000 times. And that's what I'm saying. You can go to a million different workshops, but at some point you have to stop and connect with yourself. You got to ask yourself, what are you running from? When you're externalizing, you have to watch yourself. Are you looking for an answer outside of yourself? Or are you taking responsibility for because mark my words, and this is a hard pill to swallow. I've had people challenge me, and it's hard to swallow sometimes, that every single thing that is shown up in your life is shown up as a result of your actions, or a result of trying to get you to grow, trying to get you to learn. Ultimately, you can change it. And as soon as you take responsibility and connect with yourself, and start to feel how you're resonating and how you're reacting and how the universe is reflecting you, you will actually be able to change it. And when you get to that point, the peace and the happiness that you feel in your everyday life, you shouldn't be using you shouldn't be using coping mechanisms every day to not feel depressed. You should be able to get to a place where you just feel happy and at peace, and then every now and then things will come up for you to integrate again. It shouldn't be a coping mechanism life, and too many people in the personal development world are in this coping mechanism space. And in my eyes, that means you have got stuff that still needs to be addressed, and as soon as you connect with yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to finally have the courage to go there.
Duke, this is awesome stuff, bro. I knew it would be, but it's even a little bit of a level higher than I anticipated. So I'm going to get a little personal here. You know, if you don't want to answer, that's fine. But, you know.
You can ask me anything. You know me.
Yeah. No, I don't really know you. But, well, you know what? On the surface, I don't know you. But in my gut, it does feel like I've known you for a long time, honestly. Because I'm just hearing a lot of stuff that I've been saying for years. And that's different, a little bit of a different angle. But our goal's the same. So what happens when we die? Like you get hit by a truck, and what happens to your spirit? Do you believe in God and heaven, stuff like that?
So let's say something extreme, like a bit of an exact example, getting hit by a truck. You get hit by a truck and your soul could go into three different possibilities. Your soul goes into shock. So your soul is a little bit kind of doesn't really know what's happened because you didn't see it coming and you're kind of in limbo. You could fight and be like, no, this ain't my time, and I still need to be here, and serendipity will flow and you will end up recovering. You might be in a coma for a while, whatever, and you'll come back. Or you will die, you'll go off to the next plane of reality, and depending on where you were in your life with your lessons, you will either incarnate with the same lessons to address or similar lessons of some of the lessons you hadn't yet learned, and then some new ones. So those are the kind of three possibilities.
So do you think that, let's say it's not so tragic and I die, does my soul go into a reincarnated state and live again in somebody else's body?
Yeah, you will go up, and depending on, so you have all these souls lining up ready to incarnate, and sometimes you will go straight up and come straight back down again. Sometimes in kind of Earth years, you'll be up there for a little while before you incarnate again. It all kind of depends on the overall plan. So you could, within your group, let's just say me and you, Darren, before we came here, we had always agreed that at some point in this point in our life, it would be optimal for us to connect and be able to change people's lives. It might be that, let's just say I died tragically and there wasn't the plan. Then my soul might be looking down and be like, okay, I need to incarnate, and in about 25 years I can interact with him again. Or actually, let me bide my time, and actually someone else I can influence differently to interact with him the way I would have. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of, yeah, it gets complex, but ultimately, when someone dies, the whole it's almost seen as a myth, but it's not a myth. You've got 40 days, and when someone dies, you do have 40 days to send them love, to send them hold them in the highest regard, and say, may you see all the truth of everything that was. May you integrate all your lessons, and genuinely, on a soul level, you are helping them to understand just with that positive intention, send that energy. So a lot of things you can do.
Wow. All right, that's a little deep, man. Let's reel her back in. Woo! Yeah. So, Duke, do you think that we've all heard, like, the dad's an alcoholic, the kid's going to be an alcoholic, the dad's abuser, the kid's gets abused, the kid's going to be abuser. The generation's just perpetuating themselves. There's a lot of truth to that on the surface from my perspective. Do you think someone can draw the line in the sand and stop that generational continuation of a negative trauma?
Yeah. Ultimately, I am the result of 3 generations of sexual abusers, of pedophiles, and what we have to understand.
You yourself.
Not myself, but my dad onwards.
Wow.
So what we have to understand is and this is, again, it's not personal. When we can get to that point of it isn't personal, but from a very young age, whatever it was in my soul, in my experiences, everything that had been put into alignment to make sure these things had been, so you become aware, is that we are standing on the wisdom and the consciousness of everyone who has gone before us. So we're getting a little bit more conscious and a little bit more wise with every generation. Go
Dude,
on.
can you say that one more time?
So we are standing on the wisdom and the consciousness of every generation that has gone before us. So sometimes we
Dang.
so sometimes we look at our parents and like, how can you not see this? But they're more wise than their parents, and their trauma before that, and their trauma before that, however far down that particular program goes. And we when we can start looking at it and being like, okay, my mum had amazing courage to keep together the family dynamic despite everything that was going on. But that was the exact cultivation of conditional love and lack of truth that I was looking for my soul to be activated, for me to step up, become so aware, for me to have the courage to break away from becoming a pedophile the same way my dad was. So you have to, when you can look at it from a really impersonal perspective, that exactly how things are shown up. And that if you are listening to this podcast right now, if you're in a Darren, if you're in a me, mark my words, you are the leading edge of consciousness in your family. And when you can release that judgment and accept them for who they are, and often I've seen it many times in people's kind of timelines and even seen what the decisions were before incarnation happened, that sometimes and quite often you are the leading edge of consciousness and everyone else in your family, your friends, are part of your game to give you the exact lessons and learnings and for you to step up and help all those souls that are assigned to you in this lifetime.
Damn, this is good stuff, bro. Woo! Okay, so let's reel it back in. The average listener that might not be on the brink of consciousness and is ready to change the world and live forever, and what? So, Duke, I got a question for you. So I've been a little bit more geared towards the physical side of gaining muscle, losing fat, and repairing scar tissue and what I beat up in my 40-year athletic career. I've been a professional athlete for 35 years. I went from football, and I played them all as a kid, from the age of 6, baseball, basketball, football. I played hard, and I beat my body up. And a lot of what I do now is physical, holistic rehab stuff, stem cell, prolotherapy, infrared saunas. That's why I started this Holistic Health Hacks podcast. So I'm pretty good at the physical, and I'm learning more. But I know, we've heard the term mind, body, soul. So we got the cognitive brain, we got the physical, and we got the soul. So with the cognitive, with the mind, there's also a subconscious mind, which is deeper and controlling more. So isn't there sort of 4? The conscious mind, the unconscious mind, the body, and the soul? I guess my point is, I know it's so important that we have to heal, have a little bit of knowledge in all 3 or 4 areas if we're really going to heal. And that was really the knowledge of that, and your inadequacies of just trying to use the physical. Then you met a lady, she turned you on to something that was more than physical, correct?
Yeah. So my journey, I spent a good 12 years. I had chronic back pain, torn rotator cuff in my shoulder, knee ligament damage, no cartilage left in my right knee, broken bones. And I was an athlete and I just couldn't train. I couldn't do what I loved. And my journey was just a nonstop, spending every penny, every bit of time I had trying to fix it. And it wasn't until I was around 26, 27, and I'd met spiritual and quote unquote people before, but they'd always struck me as people who didn't have a job and smoked a lot of pot. That's how I'd kind of experienced spiritual people up until that point. And I met this lady, and she was talking about how cancer, 99% of the time, there's an element of yourself that you're not able to forgive, which really turns on the cancerous aspect of those cells, coupled with other things. And I was talking about the health perspective, and I had a health business and I was selling a lot of health stuff online and changed a lot of lives, but my physical ailments were still there. I was still in a lot of pain every day. And she was able to show me, and it was actually something slightly separate. She was able to show me that I'd never felt hatred before, but the hatred I felt for my daughter's mum at that time was immense. And she was able to show me very quickly, kind of what I do now with clients, that the only reason I felt hatred towards my daughter's mum was because the way she was acting, I felt my daughter would grow up with the same childhood I had, or at least the same feelings of abandonment and neglect and abuse and whatever else. And within 6 months of that, it just turned me, I literally ripped down my health business, and it just turned me on to the fact of, oh my God, I don't know what this is, but now the hatred is gone. And within 6 months, I'd released my back pain, released my shoulder pain, released my knee pain, released everything. And I'll give you a quick snapshot, Darren, so really quickly, bullet points. My shoulder was my martyrdom, and the fact that I'd made the decision that for my brothers and sisters to love me and for anyone to love me, I had to do everything for everyone. So that was my shoulder. And as soon as I released that, I can't explain. It felt like an orgasm in my shoulder, and from there on in, my shoulder's been good.
Wow.
And I even had scans before and after showing the difference without the scar tissue. And then my back, which was the main pain, that went back to when I was abused. And I remember at the bottom of my garden, I don't know where I got these words from. And I went to the bottom of the garden and I was just like, you, God, you, mum, you're not there for me. God's not there for me. No one's got my back. And I like what you said about the kind of four aspects of the body, but I group it in physical body. Let's start from the inner. So you got physical body, mental body, emotional body, and energetic body. And obviously within the mental, like you said, you've got the subconscious and the conscious as well. And as soon as you realize that anything, in my view, which is more than a few weeks old, which is giving you pain, which is giving you some form of disturbance, it can be traced back to an emotion or something in your energy body, almost like a rock in a river, and the river water is just flowing around that rock, and you can clean that water, you can clean out the moss, you can clean out the seaweed, and that's like doing your meditation for your brain. That's like eating healthier. But until you just pull out that rock out of the river, the rock's always going to be there. And that's where it was for my back pain. And as soon as I released that decision, the back pain went, which to me was mind-blowing, because up until that point I'd spent 12 years and I tried everything, Darren. You name a technique, I tried it.
Hey,
up until that
you
point.
haven't tried some of the techniques I've invented unless you read my last book.
Well, the back pain's gone now, so I'm all good. But up until that point, everything
I got you.
from, so
That's an amazing story, Duke. Thanks for sharing it with us. I love it. All right, so with where you're at now, Duke, you're very popular over in the United Kingdom and probably in other places in the world. You're pretty highly sought after. Businesses are growing. Are you maintaining some sort of balance? Are you handling it? And I'll stop there.
Yeah, for me, I've got a good life, man. I've got a balanced life. At the moment, I'm writing my book. So 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. I'm writing my book. 1 p.m. Till 6 p.m. clients, and then the rest of the time I'm chill. But once the book's done, in honesty, 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. will be spiritual development. So, my life's a pretty good balance, because I understood after spending 10 years of making millions, losing millions, making millions, losing millions. Once I released all the reasons that were co-creating that in my reality and understood them, I've managed to get to a point now where anytime I want something, where I'm in the flow, it just comes. And if something isn't flowing, I follow the thread back, release that interference, and then it flows.
Wow. Well, Duke, how old are you?
32.
You're just a kid, man. Dang.
What can I say?
32, but you're definitely an old soul. Yeah, you've been around this cosmic few times. This ain't your first go around, I can tell that.
Yeah, and let's just say the first 10 years, I condensed a good amount of stuff in there.
What's the name of your do you have the name of your book down yet? And is it about this area of expertise?
Yeah, so Forgiveness Sets You Free is going to be the first one.
I love it. Have you signed with a publisher, or are you in the process of it?
Yeah, got a publisher, and now it's just a case of next 2 weeks, got to smash it out, and then we start the fun editing part.
Awesome. So in a couple years from now, if the universe would open up to you, which I got a feeling it's going to, and your dreams, your wildest, crazy dreams would come true, what would you be doing in a couple years from now?
I would be sat on a terrace in a jacuzzi with my beloved, with my daughter, and we're just celebrating the message. For me, it's not so much about the money. It's not so much about it's not so much about the money. Every time I tap in the future, is the feeling of joy that so many people have got the message that the abuse they've experienced, ultimately not being able to forgive, the abuse they've experienced, whatever might have happened to them, that they can't understand why, they're not able to release the judgment, they're not able to release the resentment, they're not able to forgive. They get to that point where they can truly experience joy, peace, and happiness in every moment, and just feel a happier life. Because I know after so many years. On the outside, I looked happy, but inside, I was just sad. I was not happy. I was miserable. And I just had this feeling that spurned me on, luckily, but I wasn't happy. And I tried to commit suicide a lot. And if I can give that to as many people as possible, that would be it.
Great. That's a great answer, Duke. But I'm gonna reframe that, bro. So I sort of knew that was gonna be your answer, but you never really answered the big question. So let's say worst case scenario between now and in 2 years, 2 people hear your message versus you get on bigger stages and 2 million people hear your message. So obviously you need to get more people to hear your message. So who do you need to meet? What needs to happen for you to get on the biggest stages to help the most amount of people? Can you give me some specific? Can you give me some specific people, or
all essentially after I've released the book in the next year, it's just a PR run for the book for the next year, just hustling that, pushing that. Everyone, I've got 100 influencers that I interact with every day, and all of those influencers, what I want to create my network off the back of, and then the next year after that, TEDx talks, TV, and like you said, being on stages and workshops. So this year is very much about building the workshops more, doing retreats, and then within 2 years, 6 retreats a year,
great.
X amount of people in those retreats. That's the goal, just to get to the place. And once I've got to that place, it's more of as many people can use the tools that I use. Because for me, I love the expression, it's amazing what gets done when you don't try and take the credit. I want to teach. So a lot of my clients are actually, all of my mentees are healers themselves. And I want to train as many healers themselves to use the same techniques and adapt, build their intuition and use their particular skill set.
I love it. I love it. So quick question. Am I in the top 100 influencers that'll be in that group?
You are, dude. You are on the spreadsheet.
All right, here's the virtual $20 slide to you. Thank you. $20 bill. Thank you. Second question. When are we going to get together? What would be smarter, time efficient wise, when things slow down for you? You come over here and do a retreat with me, or I come over there and do a retreat with you?
I think the US feels good, man. The US feels good.
I've
seen. There's one advantage when you can see timelines. I've seen myself in the US a lot.
All right. So, where do you want to do it at? Sedona, Arizona, or where do you want to do it at?
Yeah, that feels good, man. Arizona. Yeah.
All right. What month?
May next year.
All right. May 2018. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, done.
Awesome. And so let's sort of wind down here. I got a feeling that everyone started out listening is still listening because, and if they're not, I guess it's part of the story, but it would blow my mind why someone want to try to hear this kind of stuff, because it's really, really got the hair standing up on the back of my neck type of a thing. So, Duke, let's sort of wrap up, man. I mean, what's a takeaway? What's a lesson learned? Well, maybe not a lesson learned. What's a massive action step that someone can utilize today to go towards putting some of this stuff together? Because, I mentioned something earlier about, keeping it simple and an actionable step on the food or the exercise, but this is different, man. Or, and I slowed people down with breathing. So why don't you add what you would like to leave as I don't know if the word massive action, that's a Tony Robbins saying. Maybe massive is too scary. Maybe just a little action, but make sure you get it done.
Yeah, and I agree 100%, Darren, with rituals and protocols, and it's something that I'm doing in my Facebook group at the moment. People make it too complicated. They look at all these different people who come out with these ideas. Keep it simple. If you do these 3 things, it will get you to a level of awareness that 99.9% of the people who are in personal development, let alone the planet, are not at. Simple. When you wake up in the morning, get a pen and paper, a real pen and paper, not your phone, not your laptop, real pen and paper, and just write out whatever's on your mind. Even if you're like, right now, I don't know what to write. This is why am I doing this journaling? Just because Duke and Darren said, whatever's on your mind, literally just let it flow. And what will happen? I would invite you, just give this an make this an experiment. That way your brain won't fight you. Make this an experiment for the next week. Do this every morning, 5 minutes. Get yourself a timer, 5 minutes. And what will happen is you write with the pen, neurologically, it brings out the emotion, what's in your subconscious mind, energetically. You will start to see, either on the first day, but definitely by the third day, some of your true thoughts and feelings that are at the back of your mind, which are running in life you didn't know were there, will start to come out. Okay? So that's the first thing, just heightened awareness.
I love it. I've been journaling every day since 2001 when one of my clients, Brian Cuzza, said, "You are the best trainer I've ever seen, but you're a wage slave and you need to write a book, set up your systems, and train people." And it was mind-boggling to me because 3 months before, I was raised by a blue-collar father, and I was a blue-collar worker with a blue-collar mindset. No offense, but being an entrepreneur is about as opposite as you can get. And I've been growing ever since that day. But journaling was probably the first thing and the most important thing that I ever did and stayed consistent with.
Second thing, ask whatever you believe, God, the universe. Just close your eyes and breathe and just ask God, the universe, to infuse you with your purpose for the day. Okay? Simple. And then ask to be infused with your intentions for the day. And then set your intention for the day and how you imagine for 30 seconds, just your day, how you want it to flow. And that way you are sending out the waves and the vibrations of the day and how you want it to go. And you'll be surprised, guys, how much differently your life will show up. Just those two simple things. And the last one, Darren, we've already talked about it. It's the conscious breathing.
That, Duke, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
That is so amazing. Number 2, I just started doing this. I got a hold of a healer from Florida named Kiana, which is my daughter's, my oldest daughter's name. And by the way, how's your daughter and what's her name, Duke?
6, and her name is Liana.
Liana, that's beautiful. My daughters are Kiana, she's 21, and Alexis Renee, she's 18. And I have been living with them for 3.5, 4 years, and we've been doing a good job without a mother in their life or a wife in my life. And I learned a lot through that experience. And I'm at times wanted to not go on as well, but what I learned through that experience has made me such a happier man. And I still got some progress to go, but I'm really proud of who I am as a father right now, and I'm excited about my future in that area, and that's so important. And side note, I named Kiana. She was my firstborn. After Kiana Tom, the fitness model that was on TV, because I was infatuated / in love with her. She was really sexy, and her name was Kiana Tom. And I knew my daughters would be Hawaiian because their mom is Korean. So she looks like Kiana Tom, and that's why I named her Kiana.
Nice, nice.
So anyway, got off track there. But number 2 is Kiana from Florida, who's a healer, great lady, gal. And she said, "Darren, just pray to your God, to your mom and dad, your guardian angels, and tell them what you want." It's a conversation, just a normal conversation, and ask. Put your intentions out there, what you want, and ask them to give you signals and messages back of what you need to do. Keep it really simple.
And you know, Darren, I love this analogy. People complain when, even people who are, go to church every Sunday and they die hard, there is a God, there is a universe, whatever it might be. And then they might find themselves complaining that what they're getting in their life isn't what they asked for. Let me ask you a question, Darren. So me and you have been having a little bit of chatting over the last couple of weeks, right? Now imagine we have that event in May, and for the next 10 months, I don't say a word to you. You send me a few messages, you don't hear anything back. How keen are you going to be about doing that event with me? And you just hear nothing, tumbleweed. And then I rock up in 10 months' time, and I'm like, "Oh, Darren, I want to do this event. Let's get it rocking, dude. I got these clients. I wanted to make X amount of money with you. You're going to be like, "Yeah, I'm kind of busy, actually, Duke." Now imagine that's God. Imagine that's universe. Imagine that's your spirit guides, your angels, your psychic surgeons, all these beings and energies that are there to assist you. Make it a daily conversation, even if it's just for 30 seconds, and you will notice, you'll start noticing the actual noticing of how the universe is reflecting and interacting with you the way you didn't before.
That is sweet, man. I love the way you explain that. So did we talk about your third take? Oh, breathing.
Yeah, and just that, I'm just keeping it simple. That breath work. If people did those 3 things, just those 3 things, I'm telling you, their life would just transform. And the awareness.
Dude, change what you just said. These listeners of mine at least, they're loyal. They're going to
Yeah.
do this. They're not going to say they want to. They're going to do this stuff. I mean, come on. It's like 3 minutes a day. Why not give it a try, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Duke, any parting words of wisdom to anybody or everybody?
Yeah, the last thing I want to say, guys, for you listening, you might listen to this podcast, you might listen to other podcasts Darren does, and that voice inside you might be, it's okay for you. Trust me, I have met people who have gone through horrific circumstances. Darren has, I have. Whatever you are going through right now, just know that it will get better. And as much as it's a hard pill to swallow, whatever you are currently going through, there is a reason. And the quicker you can have the courage to go there, to feel those feelings, take responsibility for however you are showing up, you'll get to see what it is your soul is looking for you to grow through and for you to learn. And as a result, your life will just become peaceful, happier, and start flowing the way you want it to.
Dude, that's amazing. But people have to take responsibility. They can't be the victim. They got to be the victor, right?
Yeah, 100%.
100%, not 99, 98. It's 100% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Duke, the healer. Where's the best place people can find your stuff at, man, and follow you?
Best place, Facebook. Just hit me on the Facebook. You'll see me posting videos. You'll come and comment. Any questions you have, just ask away. And my Facebook group, Self Awareness with Duke. Or if you're a man and you want to get into that place of accessing your feelings and having more courage, just search Man Club online and you'll find us as well.
Man Club. Any websites, or is that's enough places, right?
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
All right, Duke. Well, good luck with the book. Me and you are in pretty much the same spot with that.
Yeah.
And I got a couple books trying to come out of me. And after this interview, I know we're more kindred spirit brothers than even before. I don't mean to say and all that dead silence on here, but there's one more thing, a thought that I have that I'm trying to get out. Well, I'm excited about May 2018, bro. I tell you what, I'll bet anybody out there $1,000 that it'll happen. Anybody want to bet me? They can't talk back right now. That's right. So, Duke, thanks a lot. Do you have a podcast?
I do, yes. Just, again, the Man Club podcast.
Cool.
And it's not just for men, it's for women as well. People like Darren, amazing people on there, amazing stories, amazing techniques.
Cool.
And, yeah.
Well, when are you going to interview me, man?
Soon, man. As soon as we get off this call, if you allow me.
Awesome. People, my followers have heard this for a long time, but I'm hoping that your supporters. I don't like followers. I like friends. My friends are going to listen to this. I hope your friends listen to it, because it takes two to tango. We're better together. I'm no better than the people out there that want to do this stuff that aren't doing it yet. And the seriousness. Oh, I got it. So the average guy, the masculine guy out there, this is a lot of stuff, man. Do you get that? Like, come on, I don't believe this stuff, man.
I had a guy who's also like a life coach in London, and he pulled me up in a bar and he was like, Duke, I don't believe a word you say. I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. But I see your clients and I see the way your life's transforming, and I see the way you speak with so much clarity. And yeah, do you know what? A month later, he came up to me. He's like, Duke, I just had the craziest experience. I don't know, man. I don't know if what you say is true. And all I would say is, if the voice inside you is like, what a load of bollocks, right? And you're just really like, this does not work for me. This does not make sense. I would just invite you to feel into, even if you don't believe it, just feel into yourself and feel if there's a part of you which feels intrigued, if the part of you feels some kind of resonance, feels some kind of truth there. Because even if your cognitive mind is like, I don't believe that, that's not possible, feel into yourself and what I'm saying, what Darren's saying, does it feel true to you? And even if your mind can't comprehend it right now, trust me, as things start to unravel, you will start to notice things and things will start to integrate and become aware, and you'll start to see the world differently the more you're just open to that being a possibility.
Awesome, Duke. Thank you. Take care of yourself, because I know a lot of people need your stuff. I think sort of like Reese's peanut butter cups, the chocolate got smashed accidentally with the peanut butter together, and I think we're going to be better together. And I think we'll help a lot of people together before March 2018, and it's a serious deal. Absolutely, 100%. People are living too short, dying too long. The freaking guys over here are living shorter now in the U.S. than ever before. And my best buddy of all time lived too short and died too long. My dad, Ken Steen, it was unnecessary. You're never a prophet in your hometown. It was freaking horrid. Horrid. I lived with him for the last year, saved my mom's life by being there, held his hand till his last breath at home with the help of hospice, but he almost passed out in the middle of the night, white, thinking he was going to hell, looking at me like, I'm going to hell, don't let me go, Darren, and I brought him back so that he could die peacefully with a peace in his heart, and I don't want that to happen to other people. It's lifestyle induced. It's the bullshit BS belief systems they have in their head that are effing wrong. And guys like me and you can help people on a dime. They can change. So you got to take care of yourself, Duke, to help more people, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm there. I'm there.
All right. Well, thanks for your time. What can I say? You know what? Anyone and everyone listening to this, it doesn't matter what I say or Duke says. It matters what you believe in your heart, in your gut, with this absolute sense of certainty. But I know, and Duke knows, that anyone and everyone, no matter what your age, gender, exercise, health, experience, can turn on a dime and go towards becoming the best version of themselves and increase the odds, albeit maybe small, but I think rather large, of living longer and stronger and being strong and vibrant and independent until their last breath. I think that'd be the Grand Slam home run. I think it's possible. And so everybody has the power to change to make the rest of their life the best of their life. Thank you to Dr. O, Ashley Oxner, for sponsoring this podcast. Thanks to Duke for your time. Your time's valuable, bro. And until we meet again, adios.
I'll be here. Cheers, guys.